What's up guys, Hungrybox here, and today's video will be my thoughts on Metagame, which was the newest Smash Bros. Melee documentary made by Semox, which basically covers the events from, I would say, 07, 08, all up until 2015, in a sense. So the documentary came out and it was released on Twitch. It was an 8-part documentary similar to the Smash Bros. Original documentary, which is split into, I believe, 9 episodes. And on Twitch it was premiered over the course of 3 days. Episode 1, 2, and 3 on day 1, 4, 5, and 6 day 2, 7 and 8 on day 3. Here was, I think, my take and general consensus / review of it, because although I didn't react to every episode on my stream, I did watch every episode. My favorite episodes of the entire series were 1, 2, 3, and 9. I think this documentary opened up in such an exciting and beautiful way. I mean, to any new viewer, to any person who's never even heard of competitive Smash, episodes 1, 2, and 3 were basically as good of a job as you could do to bringing someone, or even bringing someone who has knowledge of the game, and in capturing them into this narrative that the documentary is painting. Just phenomenal. I mean, 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 at some points, front to back. I was entranced, I was enticed the entire time. I literally did not want to stop watching. Do you guys want to know why my bonsai plant is saluting me? Because he knows that I use my Ridge wallet every day that I can. Today's video, of course, is brought to you by Ridge Wallet. The Ridge Wallet holds up to 12 cards with more room for cash. It has over 30 colors and styles, including carbon fiber. Carbon fiber, the best one. Every wallet comes with a lifetime guarantee and a 45-day full refund policy. It has over 40,000 5-star reviews. I never thought I'd ask for a wallet for Christmas, but trust me, you're gonna want one of these under the tree, no doubt at all. It makes the perfect gift because it's something you use every single day. And for someone like me who loses my old wallet on a regular basis, and this one to still be in my life, happily and conveniently, take my word for it. It's clutch. Just get one. Get this exclusive offer and check out their holiday guide by going to ridge.com/hungrybox and use the code Hungrybox for the offer code. Again, that's ridge.com/hungrybox with offer code Hungrybox. Link is in the description. And with that, alright guys, thank you Ridge Wallet. And with that, alright, thanks Ridge Wallet. And with that, let's get back to the video. For those first 3 episodes. When you go to episode 9, it's also the culmination of the entire story. Apex 2015, you know, the event where all the gods show up to, the event that ties in together every motif and every theme and every battle which each of the gods has been dealing with, showing Leffen's climb from, you know, being the god slayer to almost having that amazing chance to be at the top, and then of course the whole arc ending in this epic showdown between PPMD and Armada, which really were the 2 center points for the documentary, I would say. If I had to describe what Metagame is, I wouldn't call it so much a documentary about the 5 gods, but rather the storylines of PPMD and Armada, as well as Mango and Leffen to a slightly lesser degree. And I say that because Leffen was only introduced about halfway through the documentary. He also wasn't interviewed, I don't think, or he was and it was deleted, but there was no interview of Leffen present. But also Mango sets the foundation, sort of the guiding line for everything, including being PPMD's like supporter to becoming his rival, and then of course Mango versus Armada, classic legacy, and Mango dominating most of the 2013-2014 scene until of course PPMD's a meteoric rise to becoming the best player at the end of 2014, and of course Apex 2015. You know, and so from having all that to then seeing the epilogue in which, you know, you have these players now doing their own thing, I think that the epilogue could have been done better. I think that the epilogue it felt like it was made briefly after the documentary was finished, rather than like really summarizing all the events that happened. And as me specifically, being in the role that I am, someone made a great post about Armada recently, where it said that like right after 2015, it shows like Armada's like incredible like streak of dominance of like winning almost every single tournament apart from a few where we took him off and becoming this like unbeatable beast from like 2015 and 2016 that was just like insanely good. And then of course we're at 2016 and Evo 2016, you have 2017 where I finally become the first person to like really take down Armada, to beat him 5 times in a row, to have my 3 years of dominance. But of course, as a documentary maker, you can't capture, you can only put in so much, you can only document so much. So what it seems like to me is that they stopped production and filming right after Apex, it seems, 2015. Or they stopped right after 2016 and maybe scrapped the rest of the footage, and then spent 4 to 5 years editing, putting things in post, storyboarding, putting everything together into one, you know, cohesive piece that they attempted to show to the rest of the people. So I will say that in terms of where I thought this documentary had its high points was episodes 1, 2, 3, and 9. And I was more of a side, I would say I was more of a side character rather than the main character. Like I said, the main characters of the story truly are PPMD and Armada, and then Mango and Leffen serve as like, if PPMD and Armada are the protagonists of this story, Mango and Leffen serve as the antagonists in a way. Mango goes from being like this protagonist sort of anti-hero, and of course you might have seen there was a lot of like stuff, a buzz on social media about how they were portrayed and all that, which led to Cymox actually posting in a tweet that he was going to then re-edit the documentary and make it a little more less heavy on those topics. With the, you know, I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but the general idea is that like we were a lot different 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago than we are now. A lot different. All of us are. All of us. Like, there's the expression, people don't change. I don't know. And maybe it's different for the Smash community, because I think people have changed. You know, it's just times have changed. And I think, you know, there's certain things that are worth mentioning and certain things that are just like, it's humans doing human things for reasons that they think are valid. And at the end of the day, we're still human. We look back and we learn from those things. Having them included in a documentary that's meant to sort of celebrate Melee rather than like show the flaws of character in these 5 gods, which of course, to call them gods and then show the flaws in character, there's a deep irony in and of itself, which maybe Cymox was going for. But I think more so to celebrate the game. There's a reason I think episodes 1, 2, and 3 were so damn successful, whereas episodes 4 through 8 were marred and more criticized controversially. 1, 2, and 3 was the hype. It's the celebration of these players. It's what they do right. And I think 4 through 8 is more of them going through their journeys, fighting through their flaws, whether it's PPMD's depression, Armada's retirement, Mango's sort of fall from the top-ish while trying to stay there, and then Me Too King sort of kind of background characters in there, and of course Leffen going for, you know, being the God Slayer but having his own demons to fight and all that. Like, I will say this more than anything. I think we're forgetting a lot of the times how much we owe to Cymox for creating not only the first Smash Bros. Documentary, and of course now Metagame, but also his efforts in attempting to capture what really was, you know, what the Smash scene sort of was like. I think that while the narratives, of course, can be contested by how things were portrayed, he was the only person who really put in the effort, the mammoth effort of trying to capture those years of the game. And, you know, in a sense, more than anything, they are a time capsule. Now, when it comes to my critiques of it, you know, yeah, I would say that more, I think it would be better for the game in general if the documentary had things portrayed in the same level of hype and excitement, just front to back, that the first 3 episodes were, you know? I think he was going for the more inner comparison of what the players were going through instead of just focusing on the excitement. And I think that if he was to do a re-edit of it and make episodes 1, 2, 3 be the guideline for the pace, the hype, the storytelling, that was consistent throughout the first documentary, almost all throughout it, if he was able to do that through the other episodes, through 4 through 8, I think he would have a masterpiece on his hands. And I think there's no doubt at all that this is all constructive. This is all things that, you know, I'm sure even he didn't even, you know, see coming in that sense. It's not an easy task, you know. Making a documentary isn't just something you do overnight. This took 5 years to make, and there's still things that can be improved on it, of course. But there was moments of brilliance inside of it too, and we should never ever forget that. So to Samox, I say thank you. Thank you for being the one person brave enough to even attempt making lightning strike twice. And I think that, you know, if you were to truly realize now that what you're a master at, which is really the pacing and the feel, the hype of Melee captured in those first 3 episodes, if we can, you know, remake that maybe a little bit towards the other episodes, but still also tell us a good story and a good narrative, not only will it paint Melee in a positive, fulfilling way, it'll also introduce the entire audience to the reason we all fell in love with the game, which is the excitement that it gives us. But kudos to him for being brave enough to attempt to display everyone not as gods, but as humans. And like I said earlier, the entire point of it might have also been to do that. So, you know, I'm not much of a film critic myself. I enjoyed watching it front to back. I mean, it was a story about our lives, obviously. I enjoyed reliving those memories. I enjoyed, you know, seeing a past version of myself and comparing it to myself now as to what it was. And if there's another documentary that comes out after the fact and it captures the years of 2015 through 2020, I mean, you know, yeah, that'll be the Armada H-Box show, I'm sure, with Zane at the end. But, you know, Melee isn't always just about one person. In the same way that, you know, this documentary isn't just about one thing. Is it about Melee? Yes, but it's also the story of people. It's a story of people who, through a game, for better for worse, grow. And we should never forget that no matter what we do, we always continue to grow. We have no choice but to grow. Through all the mistakes that we make, through all the things that we do to make ourselves happier, through everything that the game teaches us to, you know, all the things that the games cause us to live through. In the same way that you can't play your best Melee unless everything in your life is balanced, you know, Melee can't be a priority for you unless you balance everything else in your life. It's a give and take. You reap what you sow. And comparing those personalities, comparing those storylines is the really exciting part of this documentary. And, you know, the way it was presented in a sort of more dramatic fashion, in a sort of more sentimental way, to a lot of people, they can't relate. And a lot of parts in there I did relate, and I did understand. So, I think there will be no harm done at all in attempting a more hype angle to it too. But me personally, critiques aside and portrayal critiques aside, it's one of the hardest projects you can take on for yourself. And I think for what you had at the time and what you were given, you did an extremely profound job in digging into the detail of everything. And I appreciate you. I appreciate Samox for what he's done for the scene. I always will. And just like anything in Melee, if it's not perfect, it can be perfected. It can be optimized, and it can be the best thing ever. It could be a magnum opus. And, you know, I'm just one of many voices in this case. I'm just one of the people whose story was told in this documentary. It's better to have these stories be told than for them to not be told. And I know Samox always has everything right in his mind for it. So I look forward to the future. I look forward to see what happens. I look forward to see if there is a re-edit like he was saying. We can all watch it all over again, maybe from a more hype angle, and maybe it'll end up on Netflix. Who knows? The more Melee, the better. All I will say is thank you, Samox. And there's a lot of reasons why Melee is my favorite game of all time, the best game ever made. And there's more than one. So thank you for watching, and if you haven't seen the documentary, I would highly suggest you give it a look. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know what you think about the future of Melee and Smash in general. And don't forget, #FreeMelee, #SaveSmash. Thank you.